Today, we are talking about perspective, about the difference between living intentionally versus living anxiously, about why chasing goals for everything we do can sometimes steal more joy than it gives.
Hello and welcome to this 24th episode in a series on freedom and happiness. It's been a pretty long and a very interesting kind of journey that I've embarked upon almost 5-6 months ago now. And if some of you have seen the earlier episodes, you would have realized how we are trying to arrive at a certain conclusion one step at a time. Throughout, I have maintained the importance of good food, good sleep and good exercise as a part of a normal human being who needs to find his way towards happiness and a happy, healthy and a very fulfilling life.
You see, in the corporate world, targets are a way of life. Quarterly numbers, yearly milestones, KPIs and KRAs. And in that environment, targets make sense. You need structure, you need metrics, they help businesses grow, they help teams function. But slowly, without realizing it, that same mindset walks out of the office with us. We start living life like a spreadsheet. Life becomes another project plan. We begin evaluating every action instead of experiencing it. And then we wonder why our mornings feel heavy, why hobbies feel like work, while rest feels like guilt, why even joy feels like pressure.
So about 2 months ago, I decided to enroll into this VDHM 25 after a very long time. After almost a year, I had decided to enter into an event to actually participate in a half marathon. Well, my love with running, and I'm sure if you watched my earlier episode on running, I've been in love with running for a very, very long time, ever since I was a kid. And this continued throughout my life. And from 2012 and 2013, I really started to get bogged down with a lot of things related to my work, my career, and this thing kind of, really partially shut down. I would, of course, go on my runs, if not very regularly, at least 2-3 times in a week. So I decided to enroll into this VDHM. Through my shorts, I've taken my viewers through each and every day which was possible for me to make a reel on it and take them through this journey of physically and mentally preparing myself for this event. I had actually set out a target of 2 hours and 30 minutes to complete this half marathon, which I could not. I ultimately ended up at a time of 2 hours and 39 minutes. So did I actually fail? That's a big question which comes to my mind.
We live in a world obsessed with numbers. 10,000 steps, 5 kilometers run, 1500 calories, 8 glasses of water, weekly targets, productivity trackers, sleep scores, performance charts. And somewhere in this pursuit of optimizing life, we forgot how to live life. Today, we are talking about perspective, about the difference between living intentionally versus living anxiously, about why chasing goals for everything we do can sometimes steal more joy than it gives.
So on this question of failing or not failing, what really comes to my mind is that we in our lives, we generally tend to acquire targets because most of us who worked in the corporates or who are still working with the corporates would have seen that our lives, they revolve around targets. It's different parameters, your KRAs essentially, which are given by the management. And so taking upon these targets, we get into this kind of frame of mind where everything becomes target oriented. But then there are certain things in life which I think should be beyond targets and everything.
Go back thousands of years. Our ancestors didn't count steps. They walked because the bodies called for it. They ran because life demanded it. They ate because hunger asked for it, not because a chart told them how many grams of protein they still needed. Movement was freedom, not pressure. Food was gratitude, not fear. Rest was natural, not scheduled. We evolved through instincts, not apps. Through listening to our bodies, not arguing with them. Targets help us, yes. They push us, yes. But the body and the mind also deserve days when we move not for achievement, but simply for joy.
Things like how your relationship with your family should be, how your relationship with your kids should be. When you go out early in the morning to a park to go for a jog or for a run, so every day, how are you actually doing it? Are you actually enjoying it? Are you actually feeling this exercise within of yourself? Are you conscious of that? When you are going out into the open air public gym and you're doing a little bit of exercise, are you actually conscious of how your muscles are working, how your body is slowly getting toned and stuff like that? So these are things which are far, far more important rather than, we approach everything in a very mechanical fashion. So this is something which I really wanted to talk to you about. My experience with running the half marathon has been fantastic. It gave me a lot of joy, a lot of pleasure to complete the race, even if it was 9 minutes and 20 seconds late. But still, at this age, if I am able to maintain this kind of fitness, I thought, well, that's okay. There's no need for me to try and be 100% or number one all the time in everything I do or everything I plan to undertake.
Look around today. We are taught to track everything. Calories burned, calories eaten, time spent meditating, number of books read this year, hours of sleep. And when a run becomes a race, when a meal becomes a macro breakdown, when rest needs a justification, a quiet anxiety creeps in. Think about it. When did going for a morning run stop being about feeling alive and start being about hitting a target on your fitness band? When did food stop being nourishment and pleasure and start being numbers on an app? And when did life stop being an experience and started to becoming data? We have even turned our freedom into performance.
So you see, the very feeling of doing certain things you love, whether it's a bike ride with your partner or it's an early morning run, you going out into the city for a small drive, stop somewhere, have a snack, go around, sit in a park, enjoy all that time. I think that is very, very important. And this will bring me to the second aspect of this particular episode. Apart from the exercise I talked to you about, is socializing. And socializing is so very important to the human mind and the happiness associated with it. Time and again, I keep comparing who we are in modern day lives to who we were when we were hunter-gatherers and we used to be living in small tribes. And those are the kind of mappings which are wired into our brain to be socially compatible with people. And this is something which will lead you to a lot of sharing and caring. This is why probably things like religions and the festivals associated with religions came about, and people start to get together, have a nice time, cook food over fire, spread it out, share the meal with everyone, and it actually gives us a lot of happiness.
There's another thing that gives us the right perspective. People. Our ancestors didn't just hunt or cook together, they lived together. They laughed, they shared food, they told stories by firelight. And that's how we were wired. To belong, to connect, to celebrate life as a tribe. But somewhere along the way, we began chasing individual targets, career goals, fitness goals, personal milestones, and forgot that happiness was always meant to be a shared emotion. When we sit with friends over chai, do activities together, celebrate birthdays, when we cook a meal with our families, when we celebrate someone else's win as our own, that's when we remember what being human really means. Because joy was never designed to be lived alone, it was designed to be multiplied through togetherness. And that, my friends, is perspective. To see life not as a race to run alone, but as a beautiful journey to be shared.
And this is something which I think very consciously we should try and come out of that mode of, living in houses stacked like matchboxes, one on top of the other, those multi-storied buildings. And there's so much of individualism which has kind of creeped into that. And so the man comes home after spending 10 hours at work, just enters his condominium, just goes up the lift, gets into his flat, and there he is, either the individual or that small nuclear family. And so interactions with the larger families is something we really miss, which could be our close friends, our relatives. And so this, I feel, is one aspect we should really give a lot of importance to and try and be socially compatible. So proper rest and relaxation is again something which I just cannot stress enough. And I have normally seen, it's my experience as well, that when we are non-stop scrolling over our phones and we have so much of exposure to blue light, it kind of really impacts and affects our sleeping patterns. And so at least, if not much, maybe 15-20 minutes before you're about to go to bed, just ditch the cell phone, close your eyes, maybe just meditate for a bit, and then just slowly slip into that deep slumber. I know there are a lot of people who will tell me that, there is so much of tension. I need to finish up a project tomorrow. There are these deadlines. I have to wake up in the morning at 3 a.m. I have to catch up a 5 a.m. flight to another city and stuff like that. Yes, of course. I mean, these things are so important. But then they're not happening to you 30 days in a month. 4-5 days in a month, unavoidable. 7 days in a month, unavoidable. Of course, very, very hectic lifestyles is something which modern executive life is characterized by today. So try and manage as much as you can, try and get your life in as much of a routine as possible, and you will start to see all these changes in a very major way. So as I sit here, talk to you about all these things which are generally common knowledge, but in this hustle and bustle of modern day life, we tend to kind of, forget those things for a while. And here, this is my effort to kind of just let you know that we have so many things, so many, as they say, small joys of life.
This isn't a message against discipline. Discipline matters. Efforts matter. It's what differentiates intention from drifting. But discipline doesn't mean punishment. Goals don't have to become chains. Not every beautiful thing needs to have a number attached to it. Running to feel your breath and heartbeat is life. Running only to see 5 kilometers completed is output. Cooking because you love flavors is joy. Measuring every calorie with fear is control. Life lives in balance between willful practice and gentle surrender, between pushing yourself and giving yourself permission to breathe.
Maybe like I'm sitting here in the park and there's this lovely sun which is coming up, and I'm enjoying this October kind of autumn season which is just a precursor to the winter, which is just about to set in. And so it is so beautiful, this early morning sun, and it is absolutely free. Or for that matter, sit down with your partner some high place and see the sun go down. And so these are the small things which kind of really make, or rather enrich, your life in ways and means you never would have thought possible.
So, the next time you go for a run, don't run for distance, run for freedom. Run because the morning air belongs to you. Next time you sit to eat, don't eat with guilt, eat with gratitude. Next time you take a rest day, don't call it unproductive, call it human. Because life is not a performance, my friends. Life is participation. Life is presence. You do not have to earn the right to feel alive. You were born with it. You don't need to hit a target to be worthy. You already are. Slow down. Breathe. Move when you feel like moving. Rest when your body calls for rest. Eat when you are hungry. Laugh because it's beautiful. Live because you are here. As we walk this path of freedom and happiness, remember, we're not here to count life. We are here to experience it. Let's build a life where effort is joyful and rest is respected, and living is not measured but felt. Thank you for being here. Stay free, stay human. See you in the next episode.
So believe you me, give it a thought, spare some time for yourself, and you thank me for it. If you really like this episode, like, share and subscribe. Do mention in the comments the small things which you do to enrich your lives further. I hope you like this episode. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.